Keep living the adventure. Axis of Awesome.
Incoming transmission.
What is up, adventures? Welcome to Sunday in the Shop live stream. It's going to be a fun night, actually. I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but we got a lot to go through. I hope everybody's doing great out there. It's been a while. I know I've done a few. I did a Sunday in the Shop a few weeks ago, but not like this. So it's good to be back. We're back on the regular live schedule that I hoped I could continue, and looks like we're still going to be doing that. So fingers crossed, everything keeps going the way I anticipate it going. And, everything's been going great. StreamYard, just to let you guys know, StreamYard's kind of changed a little bit on their free version. So it's might be a little sketchy at times for me to get it all figured out. I got in here like a week ago and started playing in this, and then I couldn't find everything. And it's kind of like, ugh. Kind of pissed me off a little bit, but I got it all figured out, and everything seems to be doing things the way I want to do them. So let's just hope that it continues down the track. So all that aside, like I said, it's good to be back. Had a good summer. It's hot as hell here in Central Illinois. It is. It's been a freaking convection oven here lately, but we've been staying cool and cranking out projects here in the shop. And I've been keeping track of everybody. It's been really fun. So coming up, and I'll let you guys know, our first Who's in the Shop guest for this second round is going to be Vern from Oakhurst Studios. If you guys aren't familiar, let's put him on there. There we go. Whoop. Vern from Oakhurst Studios. So Vern is a really cool dude. I follow him on YouTube, and also I follow him on Instagram, and he has a really awesome channel. He's been given some fantastic coverage of San Diego Comic-Con, and he's going to be a really fun guy to talk to. I reached out to him several months ago, back during the spring, about coming on here and talking shop, and he's got his own YouTube channel. Obviously, you can see he's got a ton of subscribers. He's been doing it for a long time. He's an OG YouTuber, and he's a really cool dude. So definitely tune into that. I believe that's going to be August the 7th at 7 or 8 p.m. I don't know. We'll find out. I've got it on the live portion of my YouTube channel right now, but I think it's going to be really fun to talk to Vern. So I can't wait to see him on there. I've also got Chuck Chiriaco coming after that. Chuck's awesome. Great customizer. You guys are all familiar with him. He's been on Paul Knapp's live stream, and he's a really cool dude. He does a lot of amazing and brilliant customs, and I can't wait to talk to Chuck as well. We've been planning this for a while, but he went down to Antarctica the last time I reached out to him to see if the Earth is flat and find out where the ice wall is. And hopefully we can talk about that. Maybe he can break some ground and prove some of our conspiracy theories to be whatever. Anyway, so that's what's going on with those guys. I can't wait to talk to both those dudes. While I was on break, I hit 2,700 subscribers. Pretty awesome. I'm really excited. 2,700 is a milestone. I would love to get to 3,000 someday. I may or may not, but who knows? It's hard. It's hard work, man. It's really hard to do all this because I don't spend a lot of time on this channel. I could probably do a lot of improvements and upgrades, but I'm really not interested in doing that. I'm not interested in spending extra money. I'm a baller on a budget, and I try to do this on the cheap and on the quick. So that's probably why I only have 2,700 subscribers. But I try to be authentic, and that's probably the most important thing to me. So yeah, that's what we're doing. But 2,700 subscribers is really awesome, and I couldn't have done it without all you guys out there. So thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel and continues to tune in and listen to my bullshit. I really do appreciate it. Another big thank you goes to Ed and Travis over there at Toylete. If you haven't checked them out, they have a really good, I think it's Tuesday live stream. It's really fun. They go over a lot of stuff. And Ed's an old friend of mine. We go way back, and Ed has me on every once in a while. We just did a cryptid episode. It was really fun to be on there with Ed and talk about that kind of stuff. So definitely check them out and give them a follow. And I know they'll appreciate it. Got some shout outs I want to go over with you guys. Some YouTube channels that I've been following here lately. And the first one is, I think a lot of you guys know him, Scooter Jays. So he's over there up there in Canada. And I really love all his shorts. He always comments on all my videos. He's funny. He's super funny. And he's doing a shitload of 3D printing. Like, he does so much stuff that it's hard for me to keep up, but definitely give him a follow. He's doing a lot of really cool Real American Hero 3D prints and customization. He actually took, I believe, and let me know, Scooter J, if I'm wrong about this, but I don't think I am. He took an Iron Knight tank from the Defenders line, and he kit bashed it with 3D printing items and made a classified scale tank out of it. And I thought that was really dope and super well thought out. So shout out to Scooter J. Give him a follow. He's super awesome. Another guy we need to talk about is a good friend of mine and an old friend of mine, and that is Largo. So if you guys aren't familiar, there was Largo's Lair. He was around for a long time. He did some great interviews, probably the best video editing back a few years ago that I'd ever seen. Like, his prep work and everything was just so great. And I was really fortunate enough to go on his Infinite Playlist show and share with him and Will my music choices. And that was one of my favorite live streams to do with those guys. And it was really, really fun and a great time. So anyway, Largo's been off and on for a while. I know he lives in Guatemala. He's an expatriate, and he's trying to basically figure out a new direction for his channel, which I totally understand. And he's opened a bar. It's called Los Terros, and I'm super excited for him. Even though I don't drink anymore, I'm very excited for Largo to open that. And I hope part of his plan for this is to do a live stream from his bar. That would be fantastic. And I can't wait to see what Largo does moving forward. He's a great dude. So move on over to Largo's Lair and give him a follow and check out what he's got going on. Seems like a brand new journey for him that he's on, and I'm really happy. Largo, good luck, buddy. Let's see. Another channel which I absolutely love following is Same Time Toys. You guys, I don't know if you guys would check out these dudes, but follow them. They do this Smoking Joe's live stream. It is, when I say authentic, it is like one of the most authentic live streams you're going to find. It's completely unscripted. They're sitting there smoking everything you can imagine, talking shit. It's really fun to watch. It's really fun to comment on it. And they're just out there living their best lives, man. And I really enjoy it. In fact, it's one of those things where I've discovered brand new channels, and I see the joy in people when they're doing something that they really love doing, and those guys look like they really love doing what they're doing, and it's really fun. And definitely check out Same Time Toys. Give them a follow. It's a really fun channel. I don't know what else to say about it other than you're just gonna get on Smoking Joe's, and you're just you will laugh. So let's see, we've got that out of the way. A few more guys I want to talk about. Paul Knapp, Toy Soldier Tuesdays. You guys are all familiar with Paul and Paul's Monday G.I. Joe live streams, and all the amazing guests that he has on there. And like, he has, like, he has like the cream of the crop. People that I probably could never even imagine talking to, probably would never come on my show. Paul gets these people on there and he talks to a lot of really cool people. And that's just his G.I. Joe show. But if you haven't checked out his Toy Soldier Tuesdays, you definitely need to, because there are some literal psychopaths on there. And when I say that, it's in a good way. Like people in this toy soldier world is just full of some crazy dudes. I'm just on there. I'm just amazed at the passion of all these guys that collect toy soldiers. It's pretty wild to watch. I don't catch all of them live, but I catch most of them live, and it's super fun. So definitely check out Paul's channel. I know a lot of you guys already know that who follow me, but if you don't, check that out. Paul had a lot of good coverage from the Kentuckiana a few weeks ago, and definitely check that out. That looked like a really fun time. I know Andy and Indy was down there doing his thing. Drink break. And definitely worth checking that out. It looked like a really fun time. I hope to make it there next year. So we'll see what happens. Random Geezer over there across the pond in the UK just dropped another episode of Dark Truth. If you guys aren't familiar with Random Geezer, it is a father and daughter team that is making one of the coolest, most original photo stories on YouTube, and I love it. It's with Action Man and I think Barbies, as well as a few other brands of dolls, and it's a great storyline. It's one of the coolest, most original things. I love watching it. It makes me feel like I need to do a better job with my storylines. They're killing it, and I'm so glad that Random Geezer jumped on YouTube and created all this, because it's inspiring us to do better with our craft. So thanks, Random Geezer. Check out his new Dark Truth episode. It just dropped, I believe, today. So get on there and check that out. That covers pretty much all the shout outs I wanted to go with today. You know, there's a lot of just bangers on that list, guys. And I'm probably leaving a bunch of people off there. I know Pat from Elite Action Joe dropped a new video last night. Check that out. Get over there and look at his channel. And yeah, so as far as like just channels with a ton of subscribers, I have two bangers that you guys should definitely check out. And if you're really interested in crazy shit, Mysterious Middle East is one of my favorite channels. It's three guys over there in the desert, and they have a 3-part series they just dropped on the Kabbalah and conspiracy, and it's freaking dope. I watched that with my wife, and it's awesome. It's fun. It makes you think, and I love it. I love Mysterious Middle East. They have all sorts of different episodes on jinn, giants, all the stuff that's in my wheelhouse for my adventure team stories. That's one of the channels that I draw a lot of my inspiration from a lot of my stuff. And the other one is the Y-Files. Obviously, you guys have heard me talk about the Y-Files on here a lot. Their episode recently about the CIA is freaking awesome. It's not fact, or it's not fiction. It's an episode that I just find disgusting, actually. You guys should definitely check that out and watch it. It's great. All the stuff I will watch, I'm probably on some type of list, but whatever. I don't give a shit. So anyways, moving on. Superman. So I went and saw that. By the way, Same Time Toys came out of the theater and did a live, raw reaction video to it. And that's one of the reasons I went and saw it. I wasn't planning on it. I thought about it, but after I saw his review and then read a couple online, I decided to go see it. Loved it. It was a great movie. I enjoyed it. Every bit of it. I really loved it. I think I mentioned this last week in the update. Mr. Terrific steals the show, I think, for me in that movie. The only Debbie Downer that I had was this. I'm going to spoil it for people out there who haven't seen it, but if you haven't seen it, that's your own problem, not mine. So that's another thing. Like, if I'm telling people about a movie I saw and you haven't seen it, you're like, don't spoil it for me. That's on you, bro. You have all the free time in the world if you want it. Just go see the movie. But anyway, there's a scene where like the army's invading the other country, and I get it. I get the symbology and all the stuff associated with it. All that aside, could you just spare it a few more dollars for a few better special effects for that? I mean, that army that was invading that little country, that couldn't even have taken my town actually at all with me and a few of my bros armed. Probably could have repelled that. That was the weakest looking army. Megaforce had a better military scene than that scene in that Superman movie. That's the only disappointment, my complaint in that movie. I walked out of there, I'm like, I get the scene, but Jesus, dude, CGI some more troops or something. Make it look more like crazy, but that's the only complaint I have. And if people don't like that, I got a complaint. I think at the bottom of one of my streams, you can file a complaint and send it to me. Anyways, I have not seen Fantastic Four. Same Time Toys threw that out there as well. I probably won't go see that. It's hard for me, man. Pedro Pascal is in too much shit. I'm tired of seeing him. He's in everything. There's fatigue with me when it comes to people. Like, there comes a point where if you see somebody in everything, I don't want to see it. So I might watch it when it comes out. I heard it's good. I don't like the Elseworld or the alternate universe shit. I'm so tired of, and I don't know if I've said this on Punk with Toys, but I'm so tired of using the alternate universe. Well, it's not in this universe. It's not in that universe. Just do one fucking universe. Like, what are we doing this for? Like, the Batman that I really liked with Robert Pattinson, the little glittery vampire. I love that movie, but it's not in the same universe as Superman. Just do one universe and make a bunch of cool movies. I don't understand what we're doing here. That's when I read comics from 1982 up until about 2018, like religiously. I probably spent at least $40 a week on comics. When they started doing all that Elseworld shit, alternate universe, Earth 611, I just was like, I hated it. I still hate it. I don't like it. Maybe I'm in the minority. I got in an argument with some doofus at a comic shop when I was in college. The guy wore a bathrobe, by the way. He was a guy who worked at the coffee shop, Champaign, Urbana, wore a bathrobe because he thought he was cool. Wore a bathrobe and an Indiana Jones fedora. He probably had bodies in his basement, too. Probably lives with his mom, bodies in his basement, dresses like his mom. But anyways, we got an argument about the Heroes Reborn and Heroes Return storyline that Marvel did. And I just realized at that point in time, I'm like, it like clicked. I'm like, I'm sitting here in a comic book store having an argument with a guy in a bathrobe in the fedora. What's it say about me? So after that, I try to make an effort to not argue with people over stupid shit. It doesn't always work, but I fail, but I try. So anyways, we'll take a little break here. So my plan tonight, and I hope this works, is to go back to the shop and share with you guys some stuff that I got going on. So I actually brought my laptop down, put it back in the shop. So I'm going to add that to the stage here. And I'm going to make it the center point. Oh. Let's see if I can do it. All right. Okay. Can everybody hear me out there? I see Moondoggy's on here. Can you guys hear me just well? Let me know. Hopefully you can hear me. Looks like I'm not muted. Okay. So let's go over some things I got going in the shop right now. First and foremost, thanks, Andy. I appreciate it. First and foremost, so you guys know that I got a Golgo 13 figures. That Skynet one I got from Syndico. Well, I actually managed to acquire a second one loose out of the box. So my plan right now, I actually put this one on a super articulated G.I. Joe body because the heads will mount on that perfectly because this is a Hasbro basically item. So I got this guy and I got a second one. So I got a super articulated body I found. So I'm going to put it on this head on that super articulated body. And then when I got one of those Golgo 13 limited edition outfits from Skynet. So I'm going to put that figure in this and have two of these. And I might try to include him in a photo story here in the future. So I'm pretty excited about that. Right now, I don't know if you guys have a vintage Henshin Cyborg, but I did get one of those as well, and I'm trying to restore it. So I actually got a body and I took it all apart. It's really fun to take apart. They're real similar to the Takara Combat Joes, and very similar. But I've already soaked these body parts in peroxide and got them all clear. But the only problem is the head is super yellowed. It's like a rubber or vinyl. I don't know what they're made of. Andy would totally know what these are made of. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to de-yellow this head. I put it in peroxide and left it in the sun. It hardly did anything at all. So I might try some Zapsit or maybe look up online. So I'm going to try to work on that. So if anybody out there has any advice, let me know. And I also have a set of these rubbery hands that are yellowed as well. So I'm going to try to de-yellow those. If I don't, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be for my collection, but I am doing a video on the restoration of this guy. So it's really cool. The components of this are awesome. You know, when Greg Brown and I were talking on my last Who's in the Shop, Greg had said a while back that he would like to do Henshin Cyborgs, and he still has a plan to do those. So I really hope he can realize that dream because they're really cool. I love the Henshin Cyborg figures. They're awesome. Another thing I just got done. Let's see. First, let's move this. So I got one of this thing here. So I went over to my mom's, and she had some extra of the leopard fabric, so she made a Overland Explorer coat and leopard. So I'm calling this my my Overland Explorer African Warlord jacket. So I just wanted to show it to you guys. It's silly looking, but it's kind of cool as well. But whatever. So speaking of the Golgo 13 guy, so I actually, when I was doing those heads, swapping them out, I managed to make a silicone copy of it. So I've got a silicone mold of this head, and I've done a couple of them. And my goal is to drill it out. And I'm trying to figure out what to mount it on. Now, I could mount it on a vintage Hasbro body, which would be okay. But I'm going to try a few different things. So the first thing I'm going to try to mount it on is one of these Formative Soldiers of the World bodies. Now, the thing with the Golgo 13 head is the neck base is really wide. So it's about as wide as a classic collection neck post. So you want to make sure and find one that's similar to that. And these Formative Soldiers of the World heads, basically you can swap out those on the Hasbro Classic Collection bodies. I don't know if you guys knew that. So I'm going to get a couple of these. I've got some, and I'm going to actually take off the heads and mount these Golgo 13 heads and just paint them. Because I'm pretty good at painting heads. And then I thought about putting a really I don't know what, like a 1 millimeter flock or something. I can't remember what the really short flocking is. If Stacy was on here, he could tell me. But anyways, so I'm going to actually paint the head and mount it to this Formative Soldiers of the World body. Now I'm actually might pop the hands out in 3D print inserts so you can put Damn Toys hands in here. But I might do that and put a couple of these out there for you guys if you're wanting a Golgo 13 figure. So keep that in mind. I'm just something I'm kind of throwing around, working on right now. So yeah, I've also started doing some more sculpts of the vintage heads. I've got several of these. I got rid of all the resin I had because I didn't want it to go bad. So I did a bunch of head sculpts, and hold on. I'll probably paint those and put them on vintage neck posts. I'm also working on a mic power, so I did that as well. I'm going to probably modify the eye with something. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm working on that. And let's see, I've also sent 3 of these intruder heads to Roberto Acevedo, and I wish I had the photos. I should have put them on here, but Roberto has taken these and mounted them to an Incredible Hulk body and made his own new intruders, and they're super cool looking. So my goal is to do an intruder custom in 2026. It's on my to-do list, and I've also taken that Zem from Ideal Toys, and I did a sculpt of him as well. I'm going to figure out something to do with him for maybe a Super Joe storyline here in the future. Something else exciting that you guys might enjoy is I've been working on a project with Cody over there at Pop Locks, where we're taking these basically these super articulated bodies. You get these about $20, and I've been basically figuring out how to get it all ready to go to mount a vintage head to it. Now I've actually 3D printed a neck adapter, and I think I've finally cracked it. So I think it works perfect now. So the next step is to glue the adapter in, paint the head, and see how it all looks. But my plan right now is, now that I've got it all dialed in and figured out, I'm going to try to make, this is a Defender head, right? This is kind of ones I use and work with. So I'm going to try to do the same thing with a vintage Joe head. And then I'm going to do a Mike Power head. And then I've got these modern adventure heads. So my goal is to get all of them dialed in, which I should hear this winter. And then I will maybe paint them, excuse me, and flock them. I'm also going to do a Golgo 13 head as well. Paint them and flock them, and then throw them out there for you guys to put on these bodies. I think these bodies are like $20 to $30 a piece, but I'll paint them to match the skin tone on these here. It's like a really neutral skin tone. So that's my goal. We'll see what happens. Right now, that's where I'm at. Another really cool thing that I've been working on. Oh, first off, another cool thing I'm going to show you. Murray Corrigan. Awesome Murray up there in Canada. Murray, you know, these G.I. Joe laser pistols that I had Carlo of Easy16 make for me. He made me a bunch of these and sent them to me. Thanks, Carlo. I reached out to Murray, and Murray made me the dopest shoulder holster for it. Super cool. It's got a bottom mount. You'll see it probably in one of my upcoming photo stories, but Murray did a great job on it. He did a lot of work for me. Another thing Murray did for me, and I'll go ahead and show this to you, kind of like a big reveal, but there's a video coming as well. I did my own Night of Darkness custom figure. So, and Murray did dual holsters for his blasters. So there's a really cool video coming to this. So be on the lookout for that. But thank you, Murray Corrigan. He did a set of holsters for another project I'm working on as well. Murray's awesome. He's a really good dude, man. We need more people like Murray in the world as well. And you guys probably, if you're watching my show, let's see here. Oh, another thing. So I located my vintage Yoda from when I was a kid. This is my Empire Strikes Back Yoda. So right now what I'm doing is I just bought some replacement gear for him because the original stuff is too expensive. I'm not going to pay, $30 for a tiny belt. But I got a reproduction robe coming, so I'm restoring my little Yoda. I'm going to put him on my desk. This is one of my favorite figures as a kid. I remember my mom bought this Yoda figure for me. She went out with some friends, and they went to a mall, and I think I cried because she left that night because I wasn't used to my mom leaving. So she brought me back Yoda to make me feel better. So I've still got this Yoda, and I love it. So I'm going to restore it and put it on my desk at work. And then another cool thing is I was out seeing my sister. You guys might have saw this in my last Sunday in the Shop video. I was out visiting my sister in Omaha, and we were going through a tub of toys that she brought out for my son to play with, and I found in there. So I was a big LJN Dungeons and Dragons fan. Like, I had almost all of them. The only thing I did not have was the Fortress of Fangs, and I wanted it, but it was pretty expensive, and we didn't get it. But I got all the figures and all the mounts and everything. I had like Strongheart and his dragon and Strongheart and his horse. So my sister had a bin of toys, and in there was one of my Dungeons and Dragons figures, and that was Melf. So Melf was one of my favorite figures when I was a kid. He is an elf, and I found him, the torso, and then I found the legs. So I put the legs in water and popped them back together. And then I actually was able to bust Melf apart relatively easily. So I'm going to restring him with a rubber band, and then I'm gonna. I found his bow, I found his shield, and I found someone that makes a replacement cape for him. The only thing I cannot find is his small little elven dagger or sword. It's yellow. I looked out there to see if there's any 3D print versions of it, but I didn't see any. That doesn't mean they're not available. So I'm going to get my Melf restored as well, and then I'm going to put him on my desk at work. He was one of my favorite figures. I think in that lot of stuff I found at her house, I had, what was his name? Northlord. I found his helmet with both the wings still on it. So I'm going to 3D print like a stand for the helmet, put that on my desk at work too. She said that there's a few more bins of toys that they have. There might be some other figures in there. So when they move again, so they moved around a lot. They were in the Air Force. My brother-in-law is a retired colonel, and they moved around a lot. And they haven't unpacked. Even they've been retired for probably, I would say, 2 or 3 years now, and they haven't unpacked everything from all their previous moves. So when they move for the final time, they're going to unpack a lot of stuff. So maybe she'll find some more Dungeons and Dragons stuff. I hope so. I found some of my Star Wars figures, but it was really cool how it all came back around to me. So I was really excited about that. Let's see what else. So you guys remember last summer I got these Major Dutch head sculpts? So these are like, I don't know where they're from. They're made by a company called XXL. I tried to research it and find them. I couldn't find a lot of info on these. If anybody out there watching this knows about these, let me know. But I bought them for like $12 off Syndico Auctions with the intent of doing a custom. So I'm working on that custom right now. I'm making a Dutch from Predator. So I actually sat down last night, and there's going to be a video of this coming too, and I managed to mount this with the aid of a 3D printer and an adapter I designed. I mounted him to one of those BVI G3 muscle bodies, and I think this thing turned out great. I've still got to get him outfitted, but I really love this head sculpt. It's a very cartoonish version of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Can't wait to add this guy to my some of my photo stories. Actually, he looks really good. I actually made a silicone mold of the head. In this package, there's a blank right there. I made a silicone mold of it. So I'm going to make, I got that here. I made a silicone mold of it. I'm going to make a few of these resin copies and then paint them up and maybe flock them and put them out there on some vintage Cotswold neck posts in case anybody's interested and knows. Let's see what else we got going on. So I actually ordered some t-shirts. I don't know if I'm going to reshoot my intro at some point, but I might have shared these. If I did, I apologize. I got me some Skunk Works t-shirts, another Skunk Works logo t-shirt, and then one of my favorite podcasts, Tinfoil Hat. Got a t-shirt of that as well. So those might make it into a photo story or two here in the future. I also started working on those laser tag guns I had. You saw them in my second to last photo story, but I made a set of green ones. If you can see, there we go, a set of green ones. And I went and got a box at Hobby Lobby, and then I made my own little logo here. The serial number is 1986, 1987, which was when laser tag was hot on the market. But I'll put it all together. I'm going to put that in a photo story too coming up, so be on the lookout for that. Dan DiBiase and I have been talking a lot lately because Dan sent me a package a while back. You guys are familiar with Dan. He's got his snowboarding stuff coming up, and he sent me this beautiful Christmas, I guess, pine tree. I don't know if we're going to call it a Christmas tree or not, but yeah, he was worried because we thought it was lost in the mail, but I just think the Postal Service is going through some tough times right now. But I got to get it all ready to go, get it all out there. It's a beautiful tree, and I can't wait to maybe incorporate this into something as well. Oh, another thing that I just acquired, Syndico Auctions. I got this for dirt. I got this for like $15. So this is a Cotswold Collectibles pilot, part of their boxed figure set. I'm assuming it's like this guy right here. So the cool thing about it is why I bought it was a complete pilot set, and I don't think they make a lot of the pilot gear anymore. So it has the helmet, oxygen hose in it. But I bought it because he's got the G suit, he's got his flashlight and his clipboard, but the mustache face. It reminds me a lot of Robin Olds. If you guys don't know who Robin Olds is, he's a famous military ace. I believe he was an ace in Korea and Vietnam. I believe he's an Air Force pilot. And this guy reminds me of Robin Olds. He's one of my favorite historical characters. And I'm really excited to get that. I'm just going to I should ask Greg. Greg, if you're watching this, did Cotswold base that head sculpt on Robin Olds for this figure? Because it looks like they did. I mean, I don't know. If you guys aren't familiar with Robin Olds, definitely look him up. He was an amazing military pilot. To be an ace, I think, in both wars is pretty rare, especially when you consider how the technology changed drastically between that time period from like 1951 or 52 to like 64, 65. You know, the jet technology changed quite a bit. I love that figure. He's really cool. So I need to get him out, clean him up. One other thing I got this new camouflage pattern. So I'm gonna do like I promised. I got a yard, so I'm gonna do some exclusive outfits. And what I think I'll do is I will put them on my Facebook page, and when I get them done, I'll do like a video, like a Sunday in the shop, showing you guys these outfits, and then you can like DM me, and I kind of know now, kind of by putting them on eBay, I kind of know what people pay for them. So I think it's all going to work out great, because I don't want to use eBay because eBay's fees are just dumb, and it just annoys me. I don't like giving money to the government, and I don't like giving money to eBay. So both of them annoy the shit out of me. Let's see. Last but not least. Oh, so I'm working on this project right now. I'm working on duplicating these Christmas elves. I was with my brothers all day today, cutting these out on plywood. So the next step's going to be, I'm doing a video of this. I hope I can drop around Christmas time. If I get these done by then, we're going to hand paint all these to make them look just like this. My wife and I are. So it's a project we're going to work on together. For YouTube, although she will not be on YouTube. She has already said she's not coming on camera. So I don't understand why my wife doesn't want to come on camera. She's really pretty. So I'm just being honest. She's a very pretty lady, but she will not be on camera. My son will be, but my wife will definitely not be on camera. And last but not least, just to give you guys a little sneak peek, this is something, this is for Golden Skull. This is one of the props I'm making. I know it doesn't look very cool right now because it's taped off and everything, but you can see it's a biggie. It's a biggie. So I'm trying to get this finished up so I can finish up the rest of Golden Skull. And then let's see, last but not least. So I always tell everybody I'm going to stop getting stuff from Syndico. I always tell myself I'm going to do that, but it doesn't always work out that way. But because I lay in bed at night, and while my wife's reading books, if we're not watching a video on YouTube together, I'm always on Syndico just looking at shit. And I just found something for my son for his. I don't know when I'm going to give it to him, but it came in. So that's one of the reasons why I bought some of this other stuff, to make my shipping worthwhile. So let me just lift this up. This monster right here. So it's all dirty. That right there. I can't say this too loud because my son's got really good ears. That's probably one of our going to be our best jumbo Machinders. So I'm excited I'm excited to give him that. So I'm going to do a review of that. I'm going to do a review of that figure when he goes back to school, when I don't have to be down, when I can be down here and not have to worry about somebody busting through the door like the Kool-Aid man going, "What the hell is that, Dad? Where did you get that?" So be on the lookout for that review too. So that is about it for the shop, guys. What we'll do here is I'm going to add my other self back to the stage. And then I'm going to go back in, throw the headphones on, and keep going to this live stream. We'll go back and check out the comment section so I can give all you guys a little shout out and see how everybody's doing. So let's. All right, I'm back. Hope you guys can hear me just fine out there. So that was a pretty extensive what's in the shop back there. I got a lot of shit going on. It's pretty wild. I got a lot of great videos coming here over the next few months. Really, really cool. Also, with that Syndico order that I put out, did you guys see my my review of Kabutoborgs last summer? They're super cool if you guys have not seen them. But one of my best friends I grew up with, he's actually a little bit younger than me, but he's got a son that is, let's see, he's going to be 3. So I'm going to be 51 in December, and my son's going to be 7 in September. And my buddy Ben, he's going to be 51 next year, and he's got a son that's just turning 3. So we both got started late in life. But last year for Christmas, I bought him some Kabutoborgs. It's one of his absolute favorite toys. So another reason I jumped on Syndico is because for that kid's birthday, I bought him another block of these Kabutoborg figures, or little vehicles. If you guys aren't familiar with these are super cool. Go check my review out of these. These are some of the funnest toys I think we've got upstairs in my son's playroom. We don't play with them a lot right now, but they're super dope. But I bought these for my buddy Ben, so hopefully his son's going to love those. It's going to be really fun. So let's jump in the comments, man, and see who all has decided to join us tonight. Let's see. Same Time Toys is here. I always appreciate it when you jump in. Andy from Indy, always fun to see you. Moon Doggy, another awesome dude. I can't wait to see your Golden Skull stuff. Your little photo story you dropped was really, really cool. Of course, you're also an amazing photographer as well. Mr. Dan DiBiase, a legend, OG, the G.I. Joe community. His Carl Butcher stuff is super awesome. I know he's bringing it back. And he will be my 3rd guest on the live stream, and I'll be fun. Dan and I we'll probably talk for a long time. So you guys might want to pack your lunch for that big live stream. Let's see, who else do we have on here tonight? James Peverelli. Hey, buddy. Welcome to the live stream. It's good to see you here. Action Joe Figs. Always nice to see Cause out there. Another amazing 3D printer. Jay Douthit. What's up, buddy? And that's about it, guys. This is a nice little group of guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. It's been a lot of fun so far. I've really, really enjoyed doing this live stream. I'm trying some new stuff. I've added some slides. I've added some some videos as well. I'm going to try to share one with you guys here in a second because I want to circle back to something here in a second. Let's go ahead and I got my whole itinerary I try to write down. You know, when I get up every morning, I go to work. I have a diary I keep, and I keep an itinerary of my day in there because if I don't, I get lost. But so we were talking about Largo. Back when Largo was still doing his channel, he was doing like an AT-76 project, and he was doing some other really cool things. And he had a lot of stuff planned, but I don't think he got around to ever really realizing that because of a lot of different issues. I'm not sure what all they were, but I know he was having some issues with some things. But he wanted us to make like a commercial or like a trailer for like a fictional TV series using toys. I can't remember what the synopsis of it was at the time, but he sent it to me and Adam and Ed from Action Figs and a few other guys. And I put something together on the quick. I've got it. I've had it forever, and I've never shared it. So tonight I'm going to share it with you guys. It's super simple, but it's something that I might actually come back and revisit at some point with a photo story. And it's fun. I made this probably 2 years ago. So we're going to share it right now. It's a fictional, like a TV series, like I think he wanted us to make like a fictional 80s TV series promo using toys. And I did that. And I want to share that with you tonight. So here you go.
I encountered a family Bigfoot in Syria.
Let me restart it here. Here we go.
I encountered a family Bigfoot in Sierra Nevada mountains of California, 1971.
It was a bluebird January morning here in the foothills of northeast Provo when a group of guys saw a figure on the mountain that looked like something they've never seen before.
So they don't like to be seen, and there's been reports of these things doing some pretty bad things to people.
I knew when they found that boy's body up there in them woods, torn to shreds. His dang mama didn't even recognize him. But there was something out there unnatural looking at us and watching. Somebody knows what it is, but they ain't telling us.
This fall, prepare for a hunt like no other. A hunt for the unknown.
Was that not cool? Oh man, I did that one night drinking. I think I came up with it, and then I put it all together and sent it to him. I like did it in like a week when he wanted it done. So it was super fun to do. I have that Eagle Eye Joe in that video. So I actually just wrote a Eagle Eye Joe story. It's going to be super fun. I got to work on a custom for it, but it's going to be dope. So I was inspired kind of by that video that I did. It was really fun. So I'm going to keep that video, and I would like to maybe circle back to that at some point and maybe do a Hunter of the Unknown Eagle Eye G.I. Joe photo story series, like just shorts, like maybe 6-minute shorts where Eagle Eye kind of hunts down cryptids. Same time, Twin says, "Oh shit, we gotta get this out of cryptid groups." Yes, yeah, cryptid stuff super fun. Ed from Action Figures and I are big cryptid guys. We did that episode a couple of weeks ago on that. Cryptid and the adventure teams. For some reason, it's synonymous, even though like the only adventure team set with a cryptid was probably the Abominable Snowman, maybe the Pygmy Gorilla, but yeah, I'm definitely going to try to do something with that. I think when I made it, I was really happy about it. Since then, I've kind of leveled up on some stuff, especially using different voices. But yeah, I think I've got some stuff planned for that, and I think it's going to involve Eagle Eye G.I. Joe. Yeah, I did a Yeti story. If you guys haven't seen my Wild Man and Catman Do, it's one of my favorite stories I did. It's super fun as well. It's one of those deals where I did that a long time ago, and as I've moved on with the photo story stuff, I've gotten better at writing. More technology is available. Skinwalker and Dogman. Well, James, if you haven't seen Adam from G.I. Joe Lost Chronicles, he has some really good photo stories about cryptids. He does amazing jobs with all his stuff. In fact, Adam reached out to me last night. He's working on his Golden Skull storyline right now, and it's going to be super cool. I can't wait to see his. I know him and I talk probably once or twice a week, and we're really excited about this Golden Skull storyline coming forward. It's gonna be awesome, man. I think mine's gonna be exciting. So I can't wait to see it. In fact, hey Ed, what's going on, man? Thanks for catching the replay, buddy. Hit the like button before you leave. Help me out. No, in fact, I'll share with you guys. So tonight, I just finished up. I think last week, almost. I'm 90% done with my Golden Skull story, and I kind of got the title. The title, I guess you could say, movie poster for it. So I'll share that with you guys right now. So that's what it's called. It's called Curse of the Golden Skull, The Sorcerer of Atlantis. My guy, my story is done. I've just got a few props left to build and shoot it. And I got a really cool thing planned for the climax of the photo story. And but this is going to be the title. Clip art or whatever. What do you call it? I can't remember what they call those little goofy pictures that we put in all our videos for YouTube. But anyways, that's it right there. Again, I used AI. I know some people don't like it, but we all can't be perfect, but I think it looks cool. I think it really reflects the story. So I'm really, really excited to share this with you guys. And maybe the next Sunday in the shop, I'll either play the trailer for it or a clip from the story as well. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be really fun. And I cannot wait to drop this on Halloween. I know I'm going to do mine on October 31st. And Adam's going to do some on the 30th. And then, starting in October, I know I've talked to Paul Knapp, and we're going to basically do some live streams and share everybody's photos and videos or whatever else people send that don't have access to YouTube. So, but if you do have a YouTube channel, you do want to participate, you definitely still can. Just make some content and just hashtag it, Curse of the Golden Skull, and you should be good to go. Just send me an email or something, let me know what you're doing, so I can kind of give you a shout out on my channel. So yeah. So let's see. Moving on. So San Diego Comic Con's going on. I think it just finished up maybe today or yesterday. And that's always an exciting time of the year. I always look forward to seeing everybody, all their coverage on San Diego Comic Con. There's been a lot of guys who have covered. I mean, it's all over my feed on Instagram and YouTube, all the different channels that I follow talking about San Diego Comic Con. And of course, a lot of us collect some of the really cool items. And I've seen a lot of really cool stuff. I think it's an Icon Collectibles, whoever that makes the Conan the Barbarian stuff for Frenzetta Girls, or maybe Frenzetta Girls has their own line, but Icon also makes stuff. They did a John Carter of Mars figure. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but definitely check it out. It looks super, super cool. Obviously, the Frenzetta Girls stuff's really, really nice. Their Conans are great. Now that I've seen their Conans, I wish I wouldn't have bought my Mezco Conans because they're all like midgets compared to the Conans from Frenzetta Girls. And they're a lot cheaper than the Mezco ones. I'm not selling my Mezco ones, but I'm not going to buy the Frenzetta Girls either. But they're really cool. I really appreciate those. I have seen some really cool stuff coming out of San Diego Comic Con that I'm really excited about. They got some Battlestar Galactica, really nice 1/6 scale figures. I also saw Battlestar Galactica 1/18 O-ring style figures with the starships, and that looked really, really cool as well. Again, this is what I'll tell you. What's disappointing to me is, again, here we are, another Toy Fair, another G.I. Joe without any classified scale adventure team. I've talked with Punk with Toys about this off camera, and it's disheartening to see like legacy collection stuff, which is all cool looking, and to see classified stuff, which is essentially just Real American Hero done over again. All of it is amazing and looks great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on any of it, but I know that if they did any kind of an iconic adventure team set, like say Search for Spy or Mission to Spy Island in classified scale, you could use, Snake Eyes' body, do a new head sculpt of a vintage style figure with a beard, put it on there and just give him a black raft and a submachine gun. It would sell like hotcakes. They just don't for some reason. And I don't know what the deal is. And, adventure team, next to Real American Heroes, arguably the most popular G.I. Joe line that's ever existed. And I don't know if the guys that are running classified right now are really familiar with or interested in G.I. Joe lore. I think G.I. Joe starts for them from 1982. And it's a real disservice to G.I. Joe fans to not go back to the beginning and try to encompass all of Joe as a whole, because G.I. Joe wouldn't be G.I. Joe today if you don't have G.I. Joe 1964, if you don't have the Adventure Team in 1970, if you don't have the Super Joes in 78, 77, 78, you don't have any Real American Hero if none of that comes before it. And it's a travesty to see Lenny and the rest of the crew ignore us fans. And I don't, again, I don't know what the reasoning is. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's a marketing deal. Maybe it's corporate. I don't know. But it's a disservice to ignore the G.I. Joe fans that came before the Real American Hero figures. And it just annoys me to no end. But what are you going to do about it? A lot of guys my age, I don't know about you guys out there, but a lot of the guys in the Real American Hero community now, they're getting old. A lot of them are getting rid of their collections. But I think a lot of them still would be interested in buying a few classified scale Adventure Team figures. But whatever, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's just annoying, and I think it's kind of it's a disservice. But I'll move on for that. But I did enjoy seeing a lot of the classified stuff from those guys. There's a lot of really cool classified stuff. They're knocking it out of the park. They're doing some just amazing stuff. So I can't shit on anything that they're doing. It's amazing looking. There's a lot of things, to shit on the world, but toys really, it's not worth it. Just toys. But the classified line right now is really hitting its stride. It's impressive, and so is the Marvel Legends line. They're both just a really impressive toy lines. However, I am excited about Bobby Vala and Vala versus Splinter Cell figures. I am very excited about that. I played the game. I'm a big Tom Clancy fan, read a lot of his books. I did notice that Netflix is coming out with a Splinter Cell TV series, so maybe that kind of coincides with what Bobby and Valaverse is doing with that. And you know, I'm really excited for Splinter Cell, and you know, Valaverse is really cool too. I really like a lot of the stuff they're doing, and they kind of needs a little bit of something after the Tim Kennedy fiasco, if you know what I mean. That's a wild thing there, but yeah, there's a lot of really cool things to be excited about in the toy world right now. The only thing not to be excited about is the price of things, and that's something I want to talk about next. So I'd say next to G.I. Joe, one of my favorite toy line is I'm gonna jump in the comments. I see a lot of good comments here in a second. I'm gonna jump in the comments here in a second. But one of my favorite toy lines, probably second of all time, is Masters of the Universe. I grew up with Masters of the Universe. That alongside G.I. Joe, they were both like 1 and 2 for me all the time. Love Sword and Sorcery. One of the coolest things as a kid in the 80s was all the Sword and Sorcery movies. You know, Conan with Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Beastmaster, and so many really good Sword and Sorcery movies. And I loved Masters of the Universe. So I'm going to talk about this. So this is a snake lair. So the Snake Men, there was a few Snake Men, I believe, late in the Masters of the Universe line. I can't remember. I had a few, like I had Cobra Khan. I guess he's a Snake Man. King Hiss was in the late Masters of the Universe line. But anyways, they've really focused on these Snake Men. And I've bought a lot of these for my son. And last year at Comic-Con, I think it was Comic-Con, they debuted a snake lair, and it did not go over very well at all. The fans hated it, and they kind of suspended it. And they brought it back this year again with a brand new design, kind of more fan-friendly to what the people kind of expected. And it's cool, but my biggest problem is the price point. They went $300 for this. And, you know, I think 200, maybe max 150 for this is probably more in my wheelhouse. I won't be crowdfunding this. It's kind of a disappointment to me. It's big, and it comes with a lot of items, but I'm getting annoyed with the crowdfunding model, to be honest with you, because it seems to me, and I'll show you a few other items, comes with a really cool throne. This is one of the extra figures I think it comes with, and then it comes with this horse thing, this snake horse. I don't know what the hell it is. It's kind of goofy. I don't know. I mean, there's gonna be people who are gonna love this. I don't love it. I did order Hordak's lair, the Fright Zone. I did get it, but it was like 100, maybe like 100 on Amazon. I can't remember what it was, but I got it. But I'm so annoyed with crowdfunding right now because it feels like they're going to put it out there and get a feel for what you are willing to pay for something. They need 10,000 backers to do it. They'll probably get it. Like I said, I'm not going to back it, but things are getting too expensive, in my opinion. And again, like Punk with Toys says, you don't have to buy them, and I'm not going to buy this. It's cool as shit, but $300. I can go buy a Shogun Warrior for $300 that's going to hold its value forever. And I'm not sure how much this is really going to hold its value, but it might. I don't know. But I hate the crowdfunding model because the worst thing about crowdfunding to me right now, and this is what annoys me, and maybe I'm just in the minority here, is you see these and then you see the price tag and you see the comments. The comments aren't always reflective of what's going on because there's a lot of bots and shit. But then what annoys me is you see all these toy influencers who instantly flood all their social media streams with how amazing this shit is. Oh, this is so amazing. I can't wait. This is blah, 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 blah. So dope. They're just about as annoying as fitness influencers. There's a guy who works out a lot and buys a lot of crazy shit. Fitness influencers are the lowest form of scumbag to me in the world because they're dishonest and they're disingenuous, and you understand with like fitness influencers what they're doing. You know, you see some dude who's like wicked cut trying to sell you some product, and you're like, bro, I know what you're doing. You're on all sorts of shit. That product you're trying to sell me did not make you look like that at all. And they're just telling you how awesome stuff is, and you know it's not awesome, but you see so many people who believe it. Toy influencers are becoming just as bad. And I see through all their bullshit, and I would never call out anybody because I'm just a piddly ass little channel, but it's just annoying to see them all like dominoes fall. And I've seen that with this snake layer, and it's just like, that's a bummer about the toy industry. It's like there's so many influencers trying to get clout, telling you how awesome something is, and it's just like drives me up the wall. But I think that's overpriced. I don't like. I mean, I think it looks cool. I'm not gonna buy it. I have a lot of the Snake Men for my son, and the crowdfunding thing, like I said, is just annoying. I just put it out there. Like, these are corporations that make a lot of money. Regardless of what they tell you, they make a lot of money. They have their own plants in China. They could easily sell stuff for less money and sell a lot of it. For what reason that they don't do it, I don't know. But and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have a small margin of error and they can't really sell a lot of stuff. But I don't know. It's just annoying to see the price of stuff right now. And then a lot of them cry tariffs, which that might, I don't know. I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a geopolitical expert. I'm not an expert on any of that shit. I can tell you how to build a bridge, and I can tell you about concrete and asphalt and steel and a lot of that kind of stuff. I would consider myself to be an expert on that, but I'm not an expert on all that corporate stuff. But it just seems to me like with the way the economy is going right now, and just, you know, a lot of people struggling, to charge some of the amounts of money that they're trying to charge for this stuff is wild. But people are buying it. I guess if they're going to buy it, that's cool. But the snake layer is just, I don't know. I'll be watching that to see if they get the 10,000 people to back it. You know, HasLab stuff, most of it always gets backed. The Snowcat's going to get backed. You know, there's only been a couple things I've saw on HasLab that didn't get backed, and they shouldn't have got backed because they had some stupid shit they tried to pull. Like, I think they had a lightsaber for one of the Inquisitors that didn't get backed or something. And I think maybe it was at the Ghostbusters. Was it the Ghostbusters Pact? I can't remember. I don't pay attention to a lot of that stuff. I just watch to see how much stuff's going to be and if they can get it backed. But I just think it'd be better off to just put it out there on Amazon, partner with Amazon and put it out there for sale and sell it to people. Because, you know, I don't know. It seems bananas. But whatever, that's just me. It's just my 2 cents. I'm probably being incoherent and rambling. Let's jump in the comments and see what everybody's got here. Let's see. What? Thumbnails. Yes, Action Joe Figs, thank you. It's a thumbnail. The thumbnail is going to be the Sorcerer of Atlantis. Let's see. Same Time Toys. You're absolutely right. It is everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. Yes, Battlestar Galactica does look amazing. Those figures look super cool. Those big, and I don't need a toy line to collect, but those looked awesome, man. I don't know how many of you guys out there in my age range had the Mattel Battlestar Galactica toys, but I had a lot of the figures, and my brothers had what they call the Vipers. Was it the Viper, the name of the ship? And then the Cylon ships. We had all that stuff. We used to play with that all the time until we really got into Star Wars pretty hot heavy. Yes, same times. I agree with you, man. It's stupid not to do Adventure Team. I think they really should. I think they would get a lot of people to buy that Adventure Team stuff. And yes, I don't think sales are as good as what they're telling you either. You're right. Yes, the 1944 from Valaverse looks really cool. I know Cost collects Valaverse. And yes, Bobby does do good prices. I know there's a big fight right now between Valaverse, like Valaverse collectors and G.I. Joe collectors. It's silly. There's no need to fight. It's funny to watch people get tribal. People get tribal in freaking everything. I see it in some of the wildest shit. I see it in the supplement industry. I see it in toys. I see it in trucks and cars and everything. Coke, Pepsi. It's fucking wild to watch people get tribal on everything, but they always do. That's human nature. You know, it's always going to happen. But yeah, back to Same Time's point on the adventure team. You know, I think it'd be cool if Hasbro and the G.I. Joe team did like a G.I. Joe Legends line. A G.I. Joe Legends line, you could do a 6-inch scale Legends line, and you could bring in all the different figures from all the different universes. You could do the 1964 Action Pilot. You could do, you know, the G.I. Joe Land Adventure. You could do Mike Power. You could do Bullet Man. You could do an Intruder figure. You could do a Super Joe figure. You could do your Real American Hero figures. You could do Sigma 6. You could do G.I. Joe Extreme. You could do G.I. Joe Resolute. You could do all the different iterations of G.I. Joe that we've had in a Legends line. And you could put out one or two. You could put out your Real American Hero, you know, stuff. And then you could just put out one or two Chase figures or something a year that are not those guys. But how are you going to do a Chris Star and a Rom figure and not do a goddamn G.I. Joe Adventure Team figure, Lenny? Dude, quit working out and start thinking about Adventure Team. That guy's big, too. He's a big dude. I always love when they do the live stream. You got Emily, Lenny, and I can't remember the other guy's name. The other guy looks just completely like he's like nervous, like he's going to fart or something on camera. I like their live streams, so I like getting in the comments on their live streams. Their live stream comments are fire, dude. There's some psychotic people when it comes to toys. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like taking personal shots at everybody. I'm like, yo, these are toys. What are we doing here? It's like wild to watch that. Let's see. Yeah. Hasbro definitely doesn't need to be crowdfunding things. You're right, cause they don't. It's just, I don't know what they're doing. They don't need to. Ooh, yeah. 3D printer, man. It's a life changer. I love it. Yes. Snake oil salesman. You're right about about the snake layer. You're absolutely right. 6-inch Bullet Man would be awesome. 6-inch Bullet Man would be awesome. I don't know. I don't know if you guys, let me know, is Hasbro still doing the Energon Universe shit? I don't know. I can't keep track of everything they're trying to do. They tried to be a movie company and failed at that, so who knows? I would be happy if they sold the Adventure Team or let the Adventure Team license go to somebody else, like 3-0 or anybody. I mean, they've hoarded that license out to almost everybody. Super 7's got it. Mezco's got it. 3-0's got it. Freaking Coke's got it. Pepsi's got it. Nike's got it. I mean, who doesn't have a G.I. Joe license right now? About as many people have a Transformers license. There you go. The Energon, yeah. You're going to get those, I think. I think they're trying to figure it out. And Same Time Toys, I think Same Time last night talked about the Mattel. Mattel's doing the crossovers with Hasbro, and they have the Transformers Masters of the Universe figures. I didn't know that was a crossover that I did not know we were going to get. Yes, Mego did have it, Moondoggy. They did G.I. Joe figures as well. I'd love to have some Mego Star Wars figures. Andy, you'll get a license from Hasbro if you have enough money. But I would love to see Masters of the Universe Origins do Black Star, Hercules, Warlord, Cole the Conqueror. Again, a Masters of the Universe Origins lore line. You know, I think they're good. They got DC back, and I don't know if Warlord's still under DC Comics. It was a long time ago when they did the Remco figures. But, dude, if you do a Warlord Origins figure, oh my God. You can do a Mattel Creations exclusive. I bet that thing sells out absolutely instantly. Warlord was a dope comic, man. I had the Remco figures. I had the Cole figure. I had the Hercules figure. Hell, I had those shitty ass AWA Remco figures. I used to love the AWA wrestling. I always giggle when Travis on I think Travis and Punk were talking maybe one night. I don't know, maybe the comments. Travis always thinks that Shawn Michaels is the best wrestler of all time, and he is literally smoking all the dope they allow him in New York, if they allow it there. Shawn Michaels, best wrestler ever. Get out of here with that nonsense. Come on, man. Anyways, moving on. We'll get past San Diego. Definitely check out all the coverage of San Diego Comic-Con. There's a ton of shit out there. And there's a lot of really good toy companies putting stuff out. I couldn't even believe half the stuff I saw. And hopefully when Vern from Oakhurst and I get on here on August 7th, we'll definitely talk about a lot of those figures and lines because he's really up on a lot of that stuff. So, as we start winding down this live stream, I want to talk about a couple. I wouldn't say we're ending on a somber note because I don't think it's very somber. I just think it's, shit happens, life happens, man. But first of all, we've lost some people here lately, and first person I want to talk about is it kind of coincides with the adventure team. Felix Baumgartner died in a paragliding accident here a few weeks ago. I think it happened right during Kentuckiana. I don't know. Sober note. Yeah, somber note. So Felix Baumgartner, for you guys who don't know, he was a skydiver, base jumper, famous daredevil. And when I say famous, he was probably the daredevil of his day. He was famous for a space dive he did. And this happened probably maybe a decade ago or more. But I can remember going over to my dad's. I think it was on a Sunday. And we watched it live on TV. And my dad's an aeronautical engineer. And I went over and I'm like, hey, check this shit out. This guy is going to take a balloon up to high altitude, almost space, and dive out. And basically a space dive. I think at the time it was a world record. And we watched it. And I remember watching that at the time thinking, this is one of the coolest, most amazing and astonishing things I had ever seen in my lifetime. Because I was around for the space shuttle and whatnot. By the time the space shuttle was flying and ended, all we were doing was, shitty ass space missions, spacewalks, satellites, blah, 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 blah. Nothing great. This was great. This pushed the envelope of humanity. This was a daredevil at his absolute best. And I remember thinking to myself, how cool would this have been if Hasbro would have done a special edition G.I. Joe space diver figure of Felix Baumgartner. And had this happened 10 years earlier when the height of the classic collection line, they probably would have done it. But this happened and it came and went and nobody did anything. It was like the most amazing thing I'd ever seen a human accomplish, a daredevil accomplish, and nobody did anything. I mean, it came and went and that was it. It was gone in a blink. And when you talk to people now and you're like, hey, do you remember when Felix Baumgartner did that space dive? Like nobody probably even remembers that. Like some people do. The real ones remember it. Like we all remember it. But, it was such an iconic thing that he did. And the wild thing about it is for him to die in a paragliding accident is just nuts. And, but he did. He died doing, probably died doing what he loved doing, being, an adrenaline junkie, and I was really sad when I found out he died because Felix Baumgartner was a real one. He was a real action hero, man. You don't see those. Yeah, you're right, Dan. Dan DiBiase is right. The club they did a space diver for their Last Man Standing convention set, and I have that figure. But man, dude. everybody slept on this. They should have capitalized on this. This should have been something that launched a new adventure team. Guys like this guy are this Felix Baumgartner is a real adventurer. Like he is. When you think of adventurers, you should think of Felix Baumgartner. He was the shit, and I'm gonna miss him, dude. He was awesome. Adrenaline junkies are the best. So we lost him. And the next guy we lost, this guy right here. So Ozzy Osbourne, man. I would consider Ozzy Osbourne to be probably the greatest living rock star, maybe of all time. We could argue about it. I mean, if you presented him to a jury of his peers and you had the right lawyer, you could probably argue it. Ozzy Osbourne, man, he probably died 30 years ago, maybe 40 years ago in actual, real terms, what he put his body through. He's a testament of what the human body can endure and still perform. I quit drinking. I eat pretty clean. I supplement. I do a lot of wild shit for myself. But this guy here didn't do any of that. And he lived to be 76 years old. Consider what he did to himself. That is impressive. Other than that, he was amazing. And my first exposure to Ozzy Osbourne was when I was a kid. We had first gotten cable TV, probably in 82, 83 maybe. And I got MTV and I saw the video for Bark at the Moon, and it scared the ever-living shit out of me. And at that time, I was in Catholic school. Satanic Panic was at an all-time high. The world was just crazy. And Ozzy Osbourne, along with Judas Priest and a few other bands, Wasp, was target number one for all that shit. And he got a bad rap. But looking back, the very first Ozzy song that I listened to was probably off of the second album, Diary of a Madman. And it's probably still one of my favorite songs. I think it was Over the Mountains. I remember listening to that. I think my brother might have had that record, and I listened to it on my Fisher Price record player. It was funny because I had Disco Duck, and then I was also listening to Over the Mountain by Ozzy Osbourne. And dude, what an amazing! His first two albums with Randy Rhoads were just absolutely amazing. And then throughout the 80s, after Randy died, still just made amazing music. But you wouldn't have any of the metal you have today if it wasn't for Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath. So, and anybody who argues that, I would say that the majority of people would say you're wrong. And, you could argue about the Rolling Stones, Keith Richards, the Beatles. That's different. That's different. Like Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne launched a complete genre of music that has influenced me throughout my whole life. And I agree. I think, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Matt Pike. Hopefully you are. But Matt Pike is probably one of the greatest living rock stars right now. And he doesn't get radio. He's the lead singer of High on Fire and Sleep. He's amazing. He's got a giant cult following. If you're not familiar with either of those bands, you should be. He's come out and said that Ozzy's the greatest living rock star ever. And I believe him. And this is a guy who has had some really amazing albums and played some really amazing music and played with some really amazing people. So, we all knew Ozzy was going to die at some point. I will tell you what the biggest travesty to me over all of it is when they had that concert for Ozzy a few weeks back to the beginning. This is probably going to be an unpopular opinion. The amount of commercial mainstream bands that they had playing for Ozzy was kind of sickening, because they didn't bring in any bands who were basically highly influenced by that doom stoner rock genre of Black Sabbath. So you didn't have High on Fire there. You didn't have Electric Wizard. You didn't have Yob. You didn't have a lot of really amazing bands. You had a lot of commercial bands. And I'm not surprised, but it was kind of a really disservice to those bands that everybody loves nowadays that didn't get invited. It was kind of like a who's who, the typical Hollywood shit, you know, where you invite a bunch of fucking clowns and they get up there and do a bunch of clown stuff. And there were some great performances, don't get me wrong. I mean, there were some really good ones, but they should have invited, you know, High on Fire, and they should have invited some of those other bands to play as well, because and I'm not full of shit when I say that. If you guys aren't familiar with those bands, you really should be. There's some really cool members of those bands, and they make some really great music. But it sucks seeing Ozzy go. But I think, you know, his legend's going to endure and live on. I mean, he is probably the greatest living rock star of all time. Amazing albums throughout the 80s, amazing stories, biting the head off a bat. You know, snorting ants with Nikki Sixx by a pool, and all the other shit we know about Ozzy. Just like how he managed to live that long is absolutely insane. But what an amazing dude! What an amazing life that guy lived. And Bark at the Moon was my first exposure to him, and he was something, man. But he had some banger songs. I mean, I went back and listened to Diary of a Madman the day after he died, and there's just some great songs on that album. I Know is an amazing song. I mean, the guitar riffs on I Know are awesome. Randy Rhoads, you know, had Randy Rhoads not died, shit, who knows what we would have gotten, right? But rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. You are the GOAT. And then last but not least, let's talk about this guy here. What can you say? I've seen it in the comments, talking about the comments here. We've got I think Dan DiBiase had a good one. Ozzy outlived Hulk Hogan. Go figure. Yeah. I don't know. I think Hulk died after Ozzy, didn't he? I can't remember. I thought Hulk died like a day or two later, didn't he? So yeah, Hulk Hogan. So I posted to my Facebook page that if my childhood had an avatar, this would be one of them. 100% true. I can remember. If anybody's a wrestler, I was a huge wrestling fan throughout the 1980s. Hulk Hogan was it for me from about 1983 to about 1988. He was everything to me. He was, you know, I religiously watched wrestling. My gateway to wrestling was my mom and dad had a friend who was a chiropractor. His name was Stacy Conrad. We're friends on Facebook still to this day. And Stacy had his chiropractic office. He had an upstairs apartment he lived in, and my dad and him were doing some renovations to that. And Stacy put on his TV on a Saturday morning, and it was wrestling. And Hulk Hogan came on and did a promo. This is before he won the title. And I was like, who is this dude? This guy's awesome. And after that, he won the title. He beat Iron Sheik, I think, in '84. And I was hooked on wrestling after that. And I watched it religiously every Saturday morning. It would be on syndication, I think. I can't remember what channel it was on. I was just such a world's biggest Hulk Hogan fan. I had a Hulk Hogan satin jacket I wore. I would wear it to school. I wore it twice. I got made fun of both times for wearing it, so I never wore it there again. But if I had that jacket today and it fit me, I'd wear that goddamn jacket everywhere I went in the fall. I had a Hulk Hogan T-shirt. I had all the Hulk Hogan toys. Oh man, I think I even had the Hulk Hogan weight set, the sand-filled weights. I remember Stacy bought, or not bought. There was an athletic store in our mall near our town, and he went in there and got me a Hulk Hogan FootJoy poster. It was about 6 foot tall. He asked the guy in there if they could, have it after they were done with it, and they got it. And I had it in my room for, my gosh, 7 years. I had that poster. I'm not sure whatever happened to it, but I can remember fondly Saturday night's main event when King Kong Bundy, and it was King Kong Bundy, it was in a Big John Studd maybe. They ambushed Hogan, and then King Kong Bundy was splashing him, cracked his ribs, and he got hauled off in the stretcher. And I cried. It was on NBC. I cried that night. I was crying. Like, I didn't know if he was going to be okay. And I believed all of it because I was a kid and I didn't know any better. And it was such a simple time in the 80s. It was such a wildly simple time. I believed all of it. I loved Hulk Hogan to death. I remember riding my bike over to a bookstore near my house, and they had Wrestling Magazine. And every time Hogan would be on the cover, I'd sit there and read it in the bookstore to the point where the lady who owned it would come yell at me to either buy something or leave. So I'd buy a couple comics and ride off on my bike. But it was always Hogan, Flair. Who would win between Hogan and Flair back then? We had no clue. It was all fixed, and they're all territories. It was all that stuff. When you were a kid, you didn't know that. And dude, look, I understand that Hulk Hogan might not have been, in some people's circles, the best person in the world. Maybe he did things that were unsavory. Maybe he was an asshole. Maybe he busted the unions, as Jesse Ventura, who's got his own problems. He probably did all that. He probably wasn't a great person. But to a kid in 1985 or 86, Hulk Hogan was the center of your universe. And he was one of the most influential people in my life. I started working out because of Hulk Hogan. I said my prayers, I ate my vitamins. And probably one of the greatest heel turns of all time in wrestling was Hulk Hogan. When he did the NWO heel turn, that was one of the best. It was probably the best heel turn in the history of wrestling. And dude, I'm gonna miss him. It sucks, but I think him and Ozzy, if I'm correct, both had surgeries prior to their deaths that kind of went wrong and got botched. I know Ozzy had Parkinson's and a few other complications. I know Hulkster had a surgery that didn't go too well. And it's just when you're icons like both those guys and you die, it's just, we all feel it. And the worst part about it for both those guys, and I don't know if it's more along the lines of Ozzy, but I saw a lot of really shitty comments when Hogan died. Just whether it was his political, support, whether it was the things he did behind the scenes in wrestling, but just people just shitting on him. And here's my thing with all that. If I don't know a person personally, I really try hard not to shit on them. I try to really reinforce that with my son. Like, if I don't know a person personally, I try not to shit on them. I might shit on them in my head, but I try not to do it out loud because I don't know them. I don't know their life experiences. I don't know their journey in life. I don't know any of that shit. The only people that I will shit on openly is politicians, and justifiably so, because I pay a third of my freaking salary to those scumbags for them to just give willy-nilly to anybody. And I think I owe the fact that I pay them taxes. I can shit on any politician I want. But to shit on Hulk Hogan for what he may or may not have done, or if you didn't know him personally, it just seems like it seems like Bush League shit, you know. But that's my opinion. I'm gonna miss him. It's always, you know, with Hulk Hogan, it's funny because what's that old saying? You live long enough to see your heroes become villains, and we saw that with Hogan. He became a villain, and it's too bad, man. It's too bad Hulk Hogan's dead. But you know what, man? Nobody lives forever, and we have the memories. We have YouTube. We can watch all the videos. And I know if you guys are like me, I've been going back and watching a lot of those promos. And you know, when Ric Flair eventually passes away, I'm gonna talk for 30 minutes about Ric Flair too, because Ric Flair is, in my opinion, Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan are the two greatest wrestlers of all time. And I'm sorry, Travis, if you're watching, Shawn Michaels is not even in the conversation. The thing that Hulk Hogan and both Ric Flair did for wrestling will never be done again. Prior to them, there was darkness, then there was the 80s, and then there is today. They are the linchpin of everything that has come and will be. Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, maybe 1 and 2, 1 and 1, 1A, 1B, the two greatest wrestlers of all time, no questions asked. What they did for the sport, what they did for their icons, what they did for pop culture, will never, ever be done again. You always will know Hulk Hogan, and you always will know Ric Flair. You will always know their slogans till the day you die. Can't say that about Shawn Michaels or any other wrestlers. Maybe Macho Man. Macho Man might be close, but Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair are the beginning and the end. And I will argue that with anybody. So I don't know what you guys think out there. In the comments here, we're at the 136 mark of this epic Sunday in the Shop, guys. I appreciate everybody staying with me for this whole thing. Thank you, Action Joe Figs, for saying that. I'm passionate about my idols in life. Yes, he is a legend, Dan. He is a legend. I'm passionate about my idols from the 80s. And when I, you know, I'm a Gen Xer, and we're one of the best. I'll argue this till I'm dead too. We're one of the best generations of all time. We've seen, us Gen Xers have seen everything. We've seen the late 60s, early 70s. We've seen the Cold War. We've seen the collapse of the Soviet Union. We've seen the rise of the internet. We've seen all different genres of music. We've seen the rise of cell phones and social media. We've experienced all of it. And I don't know if you'll ever find a generation that is like that. That's why we're so cynical. That's why we're fucking awesome. That's why we win arguments with everybody. That's why we don't give a shit about anything, you know? We watch train wrecks, crack a beer, and be like, yeah, that's shit happens every once in a while. My son, I laugh about my son, my 6-year-old son. By the way, I tell my wife all the time, but he's living his best life and has no clue. No clue he's living his best life. But he's got a Gen X dad, and I always say how lucky he is to have a Gen X dad, because everybody in his school, like, they're like millennials or whatever the hell they're called. I don't know what we're calling them today, but you got me rolling up in there in my 3.5-inch shorty short shorts with my giant beard, talking shit. But anyways, guys, that's about it. This has been a really good Watching the Shop. I really appreciate everybody who's tuned in. You know, that's about it, man. We've got some icons we lost, and this isn't it. We're gonna lose more people, you know. It's just the way life goes. Anyways, let's wrap this thing up, guys. Like I said, Golden Skull's coming. I hope you guys are working on your Golden Skull projects. It's not too late to get in. Don't be a coward. Don't be afraid. Just do it. We're not judging anybody. We love participation, and you don't have to be great. We will love everything you do, regardless of what you do. So I love it when people get passionate about a hobby, and I love everybody's hobbies, even the ones that annoy the shit out of me. I love everybody. I try to practice the Hermetic principles. I try to give to everybody. Every week we have I don't know what it's called. It's like a homeless shelter across the street from my house down the street. They got this thing called a blessing box. And, there's people who just don't have a lot, man. And whether it's because of their own addictions or their own bad choices or just bad luck, man. People are not as fortunate as what I am or anybody else is sometimes. And every week, when my wife and I go grocery shopping, we buy food and we put in this blessing box. Or maybe, if I'm grilling out, I'll buy a pack or two of hot dogs and I'll make hot dogs, put them in the buns, put them in the foil, and just walk over there and put them in this blessing box. And they're gone within a matter of hours. But, it's important to end this live stream. Just like, man, being kind to people is currency. And we should all be kind to people, regardless of what their political background, socioeconomic background, religious background, ethnic background. It doesn't fucking matter whether you like G.I. Joe Classified, Valiverse, Masters of the Universe. I don't give a shit. Don't be dickheads. Nobody likes dickheads. Be cool to everybody. Understand everybody, and try to be cool. Try to be the best version of yourself you could be. That's my message for tonight. Rest in peace, Felix Baumgartner. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Hope you guys are all doing great out there. Like and subscribe to the page. Hit that notification icon. And in the meantime, guys, keep living the adventure. And cheers.